Welcome back to Radio Shack, and as you can see, we're here to talk more Ninja Turtles. Now, I did say I would be coming back to recap episodes for Season 5, and for this first video, I thought I'd recap the first 4 episodes since it is the first tale. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, before we recap, let's talk about the intro. The intro is very fun. It's going to take some getting used to. But it definitely has an influence of Cowboy Bebop, the anime, and it definitely has a little flavor of Batman the Brave and the Bold too. But we get in the first episode and we see Raph and Casey chasing down a hobo in the sewers, and they follow him down a dark tunnel, and we see they are surrounded by these green glowing eyes, and they get jumped. We later find out that these are actually people who were mutated by the Shredder's mutagen and serve the Foot. We go back to the lair and we see that Mikey has found more VHS tapes, and Leo stumbles upon a Space Heroes tape, The Next Generation, and that will be the cartoon that we'll be watching for this season. After Raph and Casey tell their story of what happened, Donnie is able to make these motion detectors, these chicken-like motion detectors, so they can track where these mutants are going, and they stumble upon Tiger Claw, who is the leader. And we see that he's using the scroll of Demo Dragons to raise one of the most powerful Demo Dragons. And it is Kavaxas, who is voiced by none other than Mark Hamill. I love Mark Hamill. I've been waiting for a long time for him to be a part of the show. And Kavaxas is a beast. Like, he just tosses the turtles around, and we see him take Leo's swords to the face and they actually just shatter. He walks up to April and sees the power that she has and wants to devour her soul, so he can have the power for himself. It's crazy, but luckily the turtles get away. We go into the next episode and we find out that Tiger Claw's plan is to bring the Shredder back to life. And he wants to test Kavaxas' power by bringing Razar back to life, because technically he died in the Season 4 finale because he drowned in the lake. We see that they need a couple things to bring the Shredder back to life. They already have his body. The next thing they need is the Kuro Kabuto, which is the Shredder's helmet. Razar and Fishface go after the helmet, and they run into the legendary swordsman who knows Razar as Bradford and wants him to help take over the Foot Clan because he doesn't see Karai fit to be the leader. And who is the legendary swordsman? It is none other than Tatsu. If you remember the first 2 live-action Ninja Turtle movies, Tatsu was Shredder's right-hand man, and they even animated him to look exactly like the actor who played Tatsu in the movies. But the one difference being is that he's blind in the cartoon. But that doesn't stop him. He actually is able to hold his own, kind of like Stick and Daredevil. The Turtles and Karai go to take down Tatsu, and they have a little bit of a problem. He's hard to take down, but they're able to use smoke screens and their stealth to take him down. I would have loved to see Tatsu be a main villain, but unfortunately that's not going to happen because Kavaxas comes in and just takes his soul, and we see his body hit the ground. It's very graphic, but Kavaxas ends up getting away with the Shredder's helmet. Going into the next episode, the Turtles find out that they need Shredder's heart to bring Shredder back to life. And who has his heart? It is Don Vizioso. And he believes that if he eats the heart, he will take Shredder's place and be the top dog of New York. Tiger Claw sends Bebop and Rocksteady to go get the heart, while also the Turtles are going after him, and they have to fight Bebop and Rocksteady. Donnie actually has a vendetta against Don Vizioso because he tried to dissect him in the last season. And that actually ends up costing them the mission, and Don Vizioso gets away. But luckily, they track him down to this hotel, and Leo and Donnie end up going inside to try to get the heart. But Tiger Claw and Kavaxas show up, and a big fight goes down. And we see Vizioso's men try to take down Kavaxas, but it doesn't work, and he actually ends up taking the Hammer Soul this time. The Turtles actually see that Tiger Claw has a seal that controls Kavaxas, and they end up getting it and play a game of keep away. But Tiger Claw ends up getting it back, and they also get away with the Shredder's heart. And at the end of the episode, they bring Shredder back to life. Going into episode 4, we see that the Shredder is back, and he's a walking corpse, the walking dead, if you will. And we see that he wants to make Kavaxas his right-hand man because he brought him back to life and wants Tiger Claw to give Kavaxas the seal. But that's not a good thing. And we see that Shredder and Tiger Claw actually fight over the seal and end up breaking it into pieces, and that frees Kavaxas because that was his plan the whole time, and he ends up unleashing the underworld onto the earth. Luckily, Donnie is able to scan the staff that Kavaxas has and develop some weapons to fight against the supernatural. And yes, they look like some proton packs, they go full on Ghostbusters, and they even get some help by Leatherhead. But Leo's unsure of himself and he ends up talking to Master Splinter again and gets some reassurance. As they go into the city, we see spirits rising from the ground, and they decide to split up. Leo, Mikey, and Leatherhead go to fight Kavaxas while the others defend the city. And one of the spirits that ends up rising up is Ho-Chan, and he tries to take down the turtles, but luckily for them, another spirit comes, and it is Master Splinter, and we get to see a spirit fight. Back with Kavaxas, we see Leo actually go one-on-one with the Shredder again, and he actually cuts off some of his limbs and cuts off his head, but he puts himself back together because he's a zombie. And Mikey is able to use some gum to put the seal back together and force Kavaxas to turn everything back to normal. And Shredder even sacrifices himself and forces Kavaxas back down the hole where they summoned him from. They end the episode with the turtles saying goodbye to Master Splinter, and I gotta say, this was a great first story to tell. It was very fun, very action-packed. My only problem is I feel like it wrapped up a little quickly, but all in all, I enjoyed it. What did you think of the first tale of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Comment below and let's get a conversation going. And as always, if you enjoy my thoughts, make sure you like and subscribe. I don't just talk Ninja Turtle episode recaps. I talk everything Power Rangers and talk anything superhero related. My last video will be in the link description down below. And until my next video, I will see you later. Turtle power.